first keynote, which was actually a repeat keynote, Mr. Jordan Weisman, who keynoted the very first AList Summit. He came back.
Itchy and Scratchy, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, so it's been that traditionally. So we'll meet developer dog, loyal, trustworthy, except for, milestones. Known breeds, producers, engineers, game designers, artists, and marketing cat, hip, cool, and in touch with today's kids. The first episode of our show is Shrink Wrapped. This goes back ancient history. Developer dog made the game he wanted to make because he was the audience and he knew what the audience wanted. Didn't really take input from a lot of external sources, and especially not from marketing cat, because the hell do they know? And then really cringed when you would hand it over to the marketing team because you knew that they were just going to fuck it up. And unfortunately, I've many personal experiences which would verify that, as did many developers. And of course, marketing on the other side is completely left out of the creative, doesn't have any input, feels that their only way to control is by sales forecasts, so they'll tweak sales forecasts to try to get people to have some influence and direct the thing. Doesn't believe that they're going to finish the game, doesn't believe it's going to be any good, so they're not going to put any effort into it until it actually gold masters, and then they'll race like hell. When they're racing like hell, how deep can they get into the product? Not real deep.
So just like with Packer and with Seamus, Jordan's just dynamic, right? He came on up and got into the notion and discussion that's going on with the marketing cat showing up first to the party and really having to craft what the brand is about. What's the story? What's the product? What's the IP all about to get people excited? And if there's enough excitement there at critical mass, that will greenlight the development process.
He's come full circle, right? Old developer dog, where he would work on a game for 2.5, 3 years, never see a marketer, and all of a sudden throw his baby over the wall and hope and pray that they treat it well. To now, he's actually marketing, and his team of marketers are pre-marketing before the game even gets started, and trying to tie the knot, make it last. Build evangelists first in basically pre-evaluating or pre-judging whether this game's going to even get greenlit.
So the end of it is marketing's dead, right? I mean, we're not making 30-second. I mean, if we were talking about the launch of Halo 1, the discussion that we would have just had was all about the 30-second ad. So yes, some of those are tombstones of our kind of marketing, right? But as the games are all about the long tail now, the marketing starts to really become all about that. So is marketing dead? No, marketing is just really changing, right? I mean, so much more of our effort is moving into the community fan-centric content and building and maintaining and invigorating those communities and empowering them to do that for each other.
We put together a great set of speakers, I think, about that talked about this investment that they've made into this series called Forward Underdog. And to try to take it to our consumer courtship analogy again, this was, in essence, the 10-year anniversary of that brand with its fans.
That's the really interesting thing about what Halo 4 has become, in that Halo 4 really started about 1.5 years ago with Greg Bear's novel Cryptum, which started telling the background of the Forerunner, which is a dimension of the universe that had already been there, but not heavily directly explored. And as we know in Halo 4 now, people know the Forerunners become a new enemy class, and you actually fight and know the Forerunners. So there's actually a whole other book series. So if you did everything to understand Halo 4, you would read 3 novels, and you'd watch a web series, and then you'd go play the campaign, and then you'd go play multiplayer, and so on and so forth.
We have, at Machinima, we started off really focused on kind of fan-created content, gameplay, videos, and things like that. And over the last couple of years, we've seen the scale just grow way, faster and larger than we really ever imagined 3 years ago when we started the business. And so what we've seen is this audience is really so deeply engaged with games and the universe around them.
We're now shifting to be really inbound marketers, where in the past 5 years ago, we would create content and we'd push it to our consumer. But now we want to create content that's so rich and so valuable and so entertaining that the consumer actually seeks it out.
The notion of retention, the notion of keeping a consumer, keeping somebody interested, it's so much more expensive to replace them, right? You don't want to replace them. You don't want to have to work to get somebody completely new interested in your product. So spend less money and retain them. Spend less money and keep them involved.